Hi, friends. It is Courtney, and it is Wednesday night. You are with me watching Cosmically Connected with myself, your psychic medium, Courtney Kane Sides on the Forbidden Knowledge Network. And tonight we are going to be talking about a really, really cool thing, talking about grounding our energy, talking about ascending. And many people are feeling and noticing this right now. But before we go there, first of all, thank you for being here. Make sure that you are hitting that subscribe button, you're hitting that like button, and you're also sharing this with your friends. That would mean the world to me. You might hear a little dog today. I did not shut my office door, so we've got a little visitor in here this evening. So if you see me petting this dog, that is what I'm doing. Guys, again, thank you for being here. I wanted to mention a couple things. I do have a virtual group tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central. There are a few seats left in that. Everybody in that group gets a session. It's $65, so it's a pretty awesome way to experience a session and also experience the messages for everybody else. And you get a painting, and that's a really cool thing. So join me on your lunch hour. It is 12 p.m. Central from 12 to 1:30. And I hope that you guys will be there. So guys, again, thank you for being here. I am Courtney Kane Sides, your psychic medium, and you're watching Cosmically Connected. So tonight we are going to be talking about ascension, signs, symptoms, and maybe how to help you progress through your ascension symptoms, if you will. And so before we go there, the reason I wanted to have this conversation tonight is because on Sunday, it was, I guess, the Schumann resonance. There's a measurement of the Earth's vibrations and frequencies. If you guys understand this, if you know what I mean, if you know what I'm talking about, put some emojis here in the comments or let me know that you understand this information. And before I even dive into it, I wanted to give you kind of the description behind what that is. So the Schumann resonances are a set of spectrum peaks in the extremely low frequency portion of the Earth's electromagnetic field and the spectrum. And it has been linked to improved cognitive functions, reduced stress and anxiety, enhanced immune function, sleep function, and much more in like us human beings. Okay. So lots of you understand what I'm talking about. You feel this, and let me know also, give me a heart or like a star if you're actually feeling as though you're having some symptoms. So what happens is this: on Sunday, there's a frequency that the Earth puts off. Okay. It's essentially like the Earth's heartbeat. And this can be measured through this Schumann resonance. And there are apps for this. There are different websites you can find this out. And what was really cool was, on Sunday, the measurements were going kind of off the charts, and it was coming out to 11 particular different levels, which people were associating it with the master number 11. So that this meant just really high frequency and actually helping those of us here on this planet reach to that fifth dimension or rise in our connection and frequency and vibration here on Earth. As I say that, I want to take a breath in, exhale that energy out. And so many, hi guys, thank you for being here. Hi Billy, I see you, my friend. Thank you guys for being here. It means the world to me. But what I'm telling you is that many of us will go ahead and start to be feeling symptoms even before, the day of, or even the days after those peaks in those vibrations and those frequencies kind of arise. And what that's essentially doing is it's helping our physical bodies rise in energy, rise into this kind of new Earth energy. And so what you might be feeling, some of those symptoms could be like low energy. For me, I know that I've been really exhausted come around 8:30, 9 o'clock. Even before we started tonight, I just started to feel really tired. And so many of you, let me know if you're feeling some of these symptoms. So exhaustion can be a major symptom when there's a high frequency of the Earth, when that's almost helping our own energy try to raise that measurement of frequency within our bodies and trying to help us match that heartbeat of that Earth. Okay. So being tired, even dizziness or even fatigue. Yes, Curia says, yes, it happened randomly. Yeah, it's really interesting whenever we start to feel some of those things, especially when we're getting good sleep and noticing that Yes, as everybody else is saying, headaches, head pressure, that's on my list here of symptoms. No desire to even get up and maybe even do some of those things that you normally would be doing throughout the day. So having kind of being lethargic, and even a ringing in the ears or blurred vision. Now that blurred vision is something I've been noticing too, and almost having a clear eyesight, and then having my eyes kind of phase and having to almost kind of refocus and keep that vision kind of coming back to, having to really kind of ground my energy, and just actually seeing all of these symptoms come together. If you're noticing this, especially in the last week or even since Sunday, you might be going through some sort of ascension symptoms. So if you're doing the work, if you're showing up within your meditations, if you are growing and setting that intention to grow more spiritually or rise in consciousness, this is something that can be happening for you. And we might even be feeling that, even if it's something we're not even clued into. We might not take ownership of it. And so what happens is you might not ascend as quickly as, say, some might. But if you're open to this and you're actually taking really, really good, let me see here, and you very tired. Yeah. Well, thank you, my friend. It's interesting that we can sometimes, wait just a second. Let me see here. There. We can notice that energy can be helping us raise in that frequency and vibration. But again, very often, right as we're upping those levels and that frequency within our own body, you will feel sometimes just exhausted. And also, again, the headaches or feeling super sensitive to even noise, the world around us. Let's see. Nuna says, when your levels are up, you feel everything. Yes, we do. And so even if you're noticing kind of a heightened sense of, sensory overload, that can be even a symptom of that ascension process happening. And so just kind of watching that, again, ringing in ears, even throat irritation and heart palpitations, you might find that it feels a little bit of anxiety. But instead of maybe even anxiety, for me, when I notice that, it feels like there's like a little bit of a vibration inside. So, yes, let's see. Does everything rise up on its own, meaning our frequencies? I believe that's a really good question, my friend. I believe that it does. And we can be kind of rising within energy. Now, some will choose to stay in that lower grade energy. So I believe that we do have a choice to ascend into call it the new earth or the new vibrational field, the new dimension. We all have those either friends, colleagues, family members that might refuse to step into, I call it that third party perspective. So the awareness. So if they're struggling with letting things evolve. Okay, we all sometimes, and we might be somebody like that. You might say, that maybe that is me. If you're noticing that there's something in your life and you can't quite move past it, right? If you understand that there's a struggle there, but maybe you're not looking to make it better. You're not taking ownership of your own accountability in this. Those certain things can actually help to keep us stuck and not allow us to ascend. Okay. And so if you are wanting to take that next step energetically, take that next moment on your own spiritual path and move into that new earth energy, really being able to take a look at your own energy and taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually is all, I believe, quintessential to your process and your progress within your soul's purpose. And so for me, that soul purpose is to 100% ascend and heal. And within that space, I always believe that that's true alignment with divinity. And within that divinity is also pure abundance. We are in that space once we kind of work through that, taking a breath in, take a breath with me, guys. Big exhale out. And with that breath, we're aligning, we are ascending. And when we are there, we are also realizing that we are one with this energy. So again, Sunday had a huge shift in energy. My dog is going crazy tonight. And so having the awareness that you have the ability to move through this energy, move into this energy, use this to help you go to the next phase of your soul lesson, your soul purpose here on earth. And when I say that, it doesn't mean necessarily doing something. Sometimes it literally means, and if you listen to Elizabeth, it might mean just taking your shoes off and going and putting your feet flat on the earth. And so on Sunday and even Monday, I spent a lot of time in my yard. I took off my shoes, and really walking around is extremely important. And that's something that we all have, most of us, if you've got a yard, we have that availability to do. And so making sure that, especially right now, as we're trying to step into that energy, that you're allowing yourself the space and time to just simply be. Now listen, if we're lethargic, if we're exhausted, understanding that doing the things that we would have normally done, which maybe would mean like laying on the couch and, binging something on Netflix or whatever, maybe choosing to sit into something that might feel as though it's going to further you on your frequency or path. And so if that means playing a high beautiful frequency music and meditating, or taking a mindful walk, really watching your energy right now is really, really important, and doing something that's going to feel more so, well, slow and still giving back to yourself, but productive for your soul. So really watch that, guys. And so I see here, yes, Nuna says tree hugging is so powerful. Oh my gosh. Yes, Nuna, tree hugging is so powerful. And many of you, by the way, my dog is on fire tonight. My gosh, guys, I'm so sorry. Here, go take it. Go. Sorry, guys. I might have to go put her outside of my office door. Excuse me. And so what is really interesting is you might have noticed this major shift in the energy, okay, even before it started to happen. And for me, I think I started to feel this in March, okay? So this ascension time is here, and it's happening, yes, for all of us, but I do believe it is a choice for us to step into the ownership of the ascension, or to stay into that old shift, that old paradigm, okay? And so it does give us the opportunity to make that free will and free choice. And I believe that we all have that availability to make that choice. I'm sure I'm not saying your name correctly, but let's say Mr. Hunter says, I've been doing beach meditations and music and been enjoying them, I believe is what you just said. It just moved on. And so it's really interesting to me. I believe that so many of us can be doing and putting those meditations into play for us, and really, really helping us grow right now. So again, watch the energy. So watch the signs and symbols you're receiving from spirit. Call it from source, God, light, divinity, and even signs from your guides and angels. So now as we move through some of these moments, you might find that your own gifts and abilities are really multiplying. And so now's a really good time, a really great time to take account of the way that you're perceiving the world around you, okay? So I believe that those that are moving through these times, that are those of us who are doing this at our soul's purpose, our soul's, rightful moment and level, we are actually more equipped to take that third party perspective and view this experience on a soul level from within. Okay. So if we're frustrated by the world and our life around us, really taking the time to go in and ask ourselves, what's the solution here? Where is it that I can put my energy so that I can shift this into a higher frequency? And sometimes, guys, it means not if you've taken all the action you need to take, but coming back to your own knowing in yourself and coming back into that that space of mindfulness and meditation is right where we need to be right now. And like I said, Monday, I spent a lot of time, I was outside. I knew that this high frequency was happening on the planet, and I wanted just to be on the grass. And so I went out, threw on a bathing suit, and just sat in front of my, flower bed, and I just sat there and pulled weeds. And so my feet were on the ground, my body was sitting there on the ground. And I just was sitting there and just watching my mind, just literally being in the moment, picking the weeds, but really focusing on the beauty of the garden too. And so, guys, doing things like that can actually be a beautiful spiritual practice that can really bring you into the now right now. So that's a really great thing to put your mind into. If you can find something that feels like a positive way of bringing you right here into the now, it's a really, really beautiful way of keeping that high vibrational energy. Runion says, been seeing 1111 quite a bit. What does that mean? So 1111, actually, when we start, and tell me, guys, who else sees? Oh, there's Kermie. Guys, she just made her first appearance on Cosmically Connected. Say hi, Kermie. Thank you. Go play. So that 1111. It can be 222, it can be 333, but very often when we start to see those numbers popping up, yep, I see some of you putting that here. Very often that can be the start of an awakening or the continuation of you moving through into the next level. So I know that when Alex says it's 88 for them. Okay, that's perfect. Now listen, the point, guys, is to not get obsessed with what does this one mean? What does this one mean? And when we see it, over dissecting it, guys, sometimes allowing our energy, ourselves, just to simply receive and see the sign that's popping up. Sometimes it's just there to tell us that we are in alignment with spirit, that we are in alignment with ourselves. And sometimes that's all it is, guys. It doesn't have to mean some massive, detailed message from your spirit guide. Sometimes it's just simply our guides and angels saying, you're here, you're connected, and you are right where you're supposed to be. Okay. Now, if we're seeing those numbers and we're doing something we clearly know is not working for us, or we clearly know is not great energy, take a breath in. Don't be fearful. Don't be scared, but show gratitude that at least you see that connection, and maybe choose something different next time. Okay, guys, that's evolution. That's you moving through into the next space. Okay, it is. Let's see. Nuna says, when levels high, you see all numbers of tapped in, right? Yes. And so Nick also says, find myself driving to ground myself, feet by the river, and odd animals drawn to me. It's very strange. Yes, you will find that animals kind of start to pop around. We had a praying mantis, that the sweetest and littlest of praying mantis, that was around this weekend. And it was really, really precious. I'd never see the praying mantis around here. And so I took that as a really beautiful sign. Could that have just been a really, Kermie, you're going to get in trouble on this podcast, guys. Sorry, my dog is really going crazy. Maybe she's feeling all the high frequency and the energy of the planet. Go chill, dog. Go chill. Yeah, Joss says 1111 every day, all day. I love that. Align self with higher consciousness. Yes, I see different numbers in the patterns. So guys, the frequency, what's really cool is that that Schumann resonance, it did equal out to an 11. And so you guys can Google this. If you're on TikTok, it's all over TikTok, which is interesting and very cool. And take what you want, leave what you don't. If something resonates and is cool, then awesome. If something doesn't, then let it go and move along. But many people, when you see the 1111, the way that I perceive the 1111, when I see that number, and if you've watched this podcast, you've heard me say this before, I take a breath in, and the 1111, I see it as columns, and I move through one frequency into the next. So call it one dimension, one plane, one dimension, from one to the next. So I move through it like columns, moving through the 1111. So if you can find your own way to help you raise a vibration when you see those signs and symbols, I think then it's doing its purpose. It's a really, really cool thing when we see that. Okay, guys? Yes. Very cool. Yes, Origin says number of synchronicity. It all works together as one. And that's how you know you're on the right path. That's right. And so when we see that also, even you might find that your intuitiveness is really heightened. You might find that you are thinking of somebody and that they immediately call you. Okay. You just write this stuff down. You do not have to be super, you know, you don't have to be freaking out about this, okay? It's a really beautiful time to see how amazing it is that we are all connected. Call it faith, call it science, call it quantum physics, call it, it is all of those things, and we are all one and we are all connected. And so the point, oh my goodness, my dog is so crazy. All three of my dogs have been very energetic for 3 days. April, me too, and currently right now. So now I've learned a lesson that she can no longer be out on Wednesdays when I do a podcast. So she is just too crazy. And so, yeah, watch that energy and just take notes. So guys, right now is a really beautiful time for you to be collecting data. And what I say about collecting that data is keeping that information for yourself so that you're tracking the way that you receive those numbers, those signs, all of that energy. This is going to help you with your own intuitive gifts, guys. If I had never done that, I would never be doing this work that I do. Because guys, yes, I'm a psychic medium. Yes, I'm a spiritual advisor. Yes, I've done this work for 19 years now, almost 20 years, which is so crazy. But I'm a skeptic. I like fact, I like proof. And if I hadn't worked in the world of neurofeedback and worked with amazing neurologists and quantum physicists from around the world for so long, I would never have, I needed fact and I need proof, and I needed to be able to see in the brain where the psychic activity or that intuitive activity actually fires. And it does. And guys, we all have the availability and the ability to do it. And it's really healthy for you to question it. It's really healthy for you to track your own data and the way that you receive the information, which I teach development classes. It's not something you have to have. It's not something you're required to do. You can meditate and find your own intuitive knowing. But if you're wanting to rise within that consciousness of connection, that development class is there for you. It's not just to become a psychic or a medium. It's to be able to access your own pure connection to your own divinity and really take ownership of your pure connection to spirit, to your pure connection to the light. It's a really, really beautiful thing. Dan Hunter says, consciously engage the subconscious, a contradiction in itself. It's when you stop the animal mind, then right there, and then our subconscious is unveiled. Call it daydreaming next, OBE. I like that, Dan. Yeah, it is a really cool thing. I worked in the world of neurofeedback for a very long time, and that really helped me get into, first of all, I was already meditating for many years before then, but it helped take that meditation to the massive next level. But when you quiet down that monkey brain, when you quiet down that kind of highway of that mind, say hi to the world. She just wants so badly to be on the podcast tonight. Say hi, everybody. Kermie, say hi to the people. And so what happens is when you quiet that brain down, you realize, thank you, that there's so much more that the brain is able to do and to access. But we've been taught to stay busy, to keep going, to keep really disconnecting from ourselves. And when we quiet down the world around us, your potential, our connection is so great. Okay. And so with this high frequency of the planet, with that heartbeat of, ow, come on, let's not. With the heartbeat of the planet, thank you. She's pretty sweet. She's being ornery right now. It's like a little kid who knows their mother's attention needs to be somewhere else. And so they're acting out, trying to get my attention, right? That's exactly what she's doing right now. And so anyway, she's cute. But we learned a lesson, always having to put her up from this point on. Forgive past hurt, forgive self-love. Yes, that actually reminds me. And Dee says she knew we needed to see her. That's right. Great energy. Your comment, Nuna, right there, makes me think of the Ho'oponopono. Guys, this is a really great, if you struggle with a meditation, if you struggle because you feel like you cannot quiet down that monkey brain, that monkey mind, listening to really, again, beautiful high frequency meditations, high frequency music is great. But that Ho'oponopono meditation is beautiful. I will post it on my Instagram. I'll even post it on my Instagram stories, and I'll put it on my Facebook business page if you guys want to go follow me there. My favorite one I'll put up there, and because there's a few, but there's one in particular that I love. It's so good. And it says, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." I believe that's the way it goes. And it's just that all just one after another, one after another. And it is so amazingly beautiful, because what you'll notice, guys, is you will have different people from relationships pop into your mindset. You will have different hurts and pains pop in from the past up into your mind. And when that happens, you just take in that deep breath in and sending that golden light of energy through yourself and to whomever that's connected to as well. It is a really, really beautiful thing. So guys, if you struggle with meditation, even just that, ow, my little doggy is being ornery. So sorry. That Ho'oponopono is, again, beautiful. So I will post that this evening on my Insta story and on my business Facebook page so that you guys can see the one that I use. And again, I love it. So anyway, let's get back to some of those other symptoms. So it could be, again, anxiety. You might be noticing that you're having those heart palpitations, and even intolerance for certain foods. You might be seeing that, you used to eat a lot of cheese or a lot of dairy, and it's just something that you can't do anymore, or even carbs or something like that. You might be noticing that your body is kind of demanding even a different type of frequency of food within your system. And that can be, we can be mourning these experiences while knowing that it's for our better good. Anyway, guys, this is my dog, Kermie. Stop it. Be sweet. So sweet tonight. Nobody's here in the house, so there's nobody else to babysit her. So she's wild this evening, guys. Please excuse her. And again, that intolerance, and then also aches and pains, and also no BS, guys. If you're noticing that you cannot take any BS from friends, from other people, you might be noticing that energy around you. Yeah, somebody says, all I want is cereal. Yeah, so watch that. Ethan says, yes, Kermie just turned 1 last week. I think she's still partying. She knows her dad and her sister are all out of the house, and she just wants my attention. Little stinker. Okay. Jason says, I find the Ascension journey is like a roller coaster ride. It's a lifelong journey. It 100% is, Jason. I believe that and I appreciate that, it's kind of a never-ending thing. We're constantly evolving as a human being, on a soul level, within that third-party perspective, and connection with our purpose here. It is something that I believe also does never end, and having to really. She's so bad tonight, guys. I'm so sorry. It's so funny. Cannot take BS right now, guys. Yeah, no, me neither. You also might find, guys, that you're noticing that relationships are shifting. Okay. So you might be finding that relationships are changing. Guys, I'm actually going to go get up for the moment. So please excuse me. I'm going to walk around, and I'm putting her out of here. So come on, Kermie. You got to go, baby. You're being ornery. There you go. So speaking of taking no BS, guys, that was me now taking no BS for my beautiful baby dog. So we got enough of her. I'm done. So yes. Thank you, guys. So yes, relationships changing. I had a dream about a month ago of having to release a couple of relationships. And it was really interesting. I was letting go of one of their hands. There were 2 people in this particular dream. And I understand that while sometimes we want to take people with us, sometimes in the ascension process, guys, take a breath with me. Big exhale out. Sometimes we can't take everybody with us. And we can understand that. We can know that's the right thing, but also, again, mourn those relationships at the same time in the same breath. So it's kind of a beautiful mourning process, if you will, but all very necessary. Okay. Yeah. Very interesting. Nuna says, yes, indeed. Once your levels rise, you will feel all kinds of energy that you didn't see or notice before. Again, stay humble. Yes, exactly. We can celebrate this. We can appreciate it. But again, it's not easy, and it is something that does evolve. But I'm telling you guys, there is a something happening here right now on the planet. And I'm telling you, many of you I know are 100% on board with this. You are here with the Forbidden Knowledge family. You're here finding this video. You're knowing that there's something going on, and you're feeling this on a frequency level, a vibration. You might not know what to call it. You might not know what exactly that is, but you know that there's something happening, and you're here. And guys, it's okay that we might not know exactly what that means. It might be okay that it's okay that we might not know exactly how it's going to look. But when we become in alignment with that spirit, call it divine, call it source, call it God, call it whatever your faith-based connection is, you are going to be finding that you will be ascending just by you showing up in every breath and every moment. That is enough. It is enough. Okay. And so the things that can help us, I believe, move through that ascension process, the things that help me is making sure that I'm, trying to watch my body, right? So either feeling like, okay, if I'm needing more movement, making sure I'm giving myself more movement. If I'm, taking lots of baths or water, it can really be healing for you. Watching that, it's a very, very helpful thing that you guys might be also finding that you're doing more of, whether that's swimming or getting into the bathtubs, getting into a sauna, making sure that you're connecting and kind of giving back to that body is really essential right now, I believe. I had a body work thing happening on Monday. I have a dear person that I go to who does something called raindrop therapy. And it's these little, even I have them in my ears now, but little acupuncture stones, so that when I'm walking throughout the week, I'm kind of pressing on those things to help whatever they're supposed to be helping with, right? But she also does a tuning fork kind of healing as well. And so that's something that can help shift the energy inside and help resonate. So the fact that this high vibrational moment was happening Sunday, and then the fact that I was doing that Monday just happened to be a coincidence. But I'm so grateful that I have that scheduled for my own self-care and self-healing. So right now, making sure that you guys are giving and putting your own needs ahead of even sometimes the other daily things within your life is essential right now, especially in your own ascension process. It's not selfish. Again, it is self-care. Nuna says spiritual cleaning. Yes, it's so important. Let's see. Jack says energy shifts have been noticeable. Awareness has been so helpful in helping me through it. Good. So again, guys, making sure you're jotting these things that you're noticing down with no judgment, with no expectation of what it's supposed to be showing you. So taking notes, collecting that data of what it means. Okay. Hi, Janet. I see you, my friend. Yes. So Janet's doing the tuning forks. I love it. Good. It does really add to that kind of experience of moving that energy through the body. And you'll notice that sometimes, say, if somebody's doing the tuning forks and down at your toes, you might feel it at certain different spots within your body, which is just a really, really cool thing to even experience and notice that within your own energy. Okay. So again, stuff that can help move you through this ascension process is meditation again. So meditation, even a guided meditation, or even, like I said, that Ho'oponopono is one of my favorites. If you feel as though you cannot get out of your head, but it can help heal, and those things will come up for you that need to kind of come up and sift up for you to move through and let go. Those are really, really beautiful meditations. Movement, yoga. Again, that body work, massage is a really, really good thing too right now. And even understanding that you're also at this time recognizing your higher self. So showing gratitude that when you say you see yourself even participating in things that you know are not serving you, or interjecting in things that you understand are maybe even low level or low energy. Even when you notice that, with no judgment, taking that breath in on the pause. You know, I always say, thank you, thank you, thank you for the awareness that is mine, and sending that energy out. Just processing that in itself is helping you to stay within that alignment of this here and the now, which will also help you transcend to the next dimension, plane, whatever you want to call it. Okay. That is going to help you move through to the next phase. Okay. Yes. And yes, reaching that ascension, that third party perspective will help you do that. And then again, that helping you connect to that divinity, that fifth dimension, and then realizing that, yes, we are all one. That is the whole point of this ascension process right now, guys, is to remind us that we're not separate. As I heal, as I grow, as I connect, as I find that purpose, as I find the voice, as I ground and I take ownership, what it does is it literally is a ripple effect to those around the world, to my family, to whatever, right? Just as the people that I see doing the same thing. When I see my friend show up, I had a beautiful phone call with a dear friend earlier today who's actually doing, you know, big, beautiful things. And I mean, healing in her life, healing those relationships, taking steps in all areas. What that does again is it's like a ripple effect to help those around receive and understand again that when we see it outside of ourselves, we can understand that we can either heal that, we can resonate with it. It's all essential, quintessential to our ascension process. Okay. And so you understanding, yeah, Trevor says, lose your ego. Well, we all need to be losing the ego for sure. And so understanding that us seeing and taking ownership of all of our gifts and abilities, while being humble within that is extremely important, but understanding that the ego wants to attach to all of those things too, by the way. Okay. And so this is the thing. There can be something called even the spiritual kind of ego, right? Where say a teacher or somebody says, this is the way, the end all in the be all, right? And they say that just because I've done this work that I'm here and there. No, we are all one. We are all connected and literally mirrors for each other. So this is what I find in my own life and my own experience, and what I see all the time is just when we think we've arrived, what happens, guys, it recycles back down. The lessons start back up. Just because we've grown so much doesn't mean that we don't get to come back down and move through again to the next moment and the next moment. That is why that breath helps us shift. That is why when the hard things happen, when we see that we are only human, right? That it can help us come back to that collective knowing that we're here, we're now, and we can ground in that energy. Okay. Robin says, don't confuse humble and knowing and acknowledgement. I don't know what you're saying, my friend. Yes. Jason says, I've become one with my higher self and seeing myself as golden white light. And the fact that we are all connected as one is an amazing thing. Yeah, I agree. And that is, if you watch this podcast, you have heard me, especially since March. I had that vision and that understanding that literally, if this is how it feels to me, and this can be true for me and not true for you, it can be true for me and not for anybody else, right? But within every breath, every moment, we can actually feel as though we are reborn again into this moment, acknowledging, with knowing and acknowledgement. Okay, Robin, thank you for that, Robin. Yeah, but taking ownership that we are coming back to the light. So what you'll find if and when we've ascended to the now, by the way, that doesn't mean that we're ever done doing that. Never, it's a life process of awareness, stepping in, ascension, awareness, stepping in, ascension, surrendering, all of it, right? And so when we are surrendering to that breath of that light, of that divinity, and understanding that when we are fearful, if we surrender and we let go and we become grounded within that light, that we somehow, it transforms into a way that we very often can sometimes not even recognize it. It can always be so much more beautiful than even when we've thought it could be. Okay. It's a very, very cool thing. TNT says, I love this platform. Thank you for the honesty and education and growth. My questions are always answered. Hi, my friend. Thank you for that comment. I will say that, we are all just literally human beings here doing what we can, sharing our own process and our own growth. Sometimes that's because we have failed forward. You've heard that saying, and I love that saying. Many of us are constant students, constant teachers, constant, people here just trying to learn and grow and keep putting that out there and putting that out there. And I think that that's the point for all of us, by the way, guys, is to understand that this life's process is to keep coming into alignment of the growth, in alignment of the breath, and understand that we too, while we feel as though we're figuring it out, our quest of figuring out, I don't know that that's ever truly done, but to be excited that we get to see that there's such beautiful connection, that there's such beautiful awareness, guys, I think is absolutely the gift. It is absolutely the purpose of life. And I believe why we're here. It, again, doesn't always feel good. It's not always happy, happy, joy, joy. It can be very hard, and it can be life's, hurts that actually propel us to heal and also show other people the way to find the light. And I really take ownership with all of those. We all have different hurts and pains and struggles that we've moved through. But I believe that part of that beauty in that ascension process is to heal much of that and become, again, mirror for the world around us. And that is what I will tell you, what you will find here on this Forbidden Knowledge Network and on this podcast. And why we also share so many different avenues of connection and different opinions, because, one person's opinion might not be the next person's, and we might learn different things from many different people. And I know that's how I've learned in my lifetime, is what resonates with me sticks with me. What resonates with me does feel like truth, and the things that don't, I let them go within that light. They move on and they flow through. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. Trevor says that's why we keep coming back until we get it right. Yes, that's right. And Robin says that's the best part. It's scary sometimes, right? Yes, 100%. And Christine says all of my family and friends took the vaccine. How can you be so peaceful knowing that your friends and your family members took the vaccine? What am I missing? Hi, Christine. Well, that we could go on and on about. That's a whole episode. I will say to you that I too have had many friends and family take the vaccine. And what I do is I release any pain, any hurt, any judgment, any of that. I come back to my grounded knowing that the choice I made was for me and my choice. And I leave everybody else up to their own choices and their own devices. And I love them. And that's all I do. So I surrender. I know what I think about that. I know my thoughts about that. I was not vaccinated. And I have my opinions on that. And when I'm asked by those family members whom I love, I share that. But they also have their own opinions. And this is a world and a space and a dimension, I believe, of free will and free choice. And so I surrender to that. Christine, let me know what you think about that. And I understand that that's difficult and hard, but sometimes, sometimes that dark energy wants to keep us divided. And that, when I say that, that can be a number of different things. We could list a million different things that want to keep those divided. But if we can surrender to the energy that all we really have here in this moment is this breath. That's it. That to me means we're coming back to this here in the now, this moment, and the light. An amazing book that I read so long ago, it could have been 18 years ago. It felt like forever ago, was A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. And before that, it was The Power of Now. And that is a really amazing book. I'm sure many of you guys have read that. If you've read it, give me an emoji here. But that was a really beautiful book to help put me and understand that I can be here in my space and be the observer. I was already experiencing that in so many different ways. And not everything is a cause for my maybe attention or opinion, but I can observe it, breathe it in, exhale it out, leave what I want, take what I want, and surrender to the moment, surrender to the now. Okay. When we do that, I believe that we are also wanting others to give us free will, free space to experience what we need to experience here and now. And when we do that, I believe that we also give the space for others to do the same. Right. Let's see. I'm a nurse. I didn't want it. Yeah. There's a lot of different, a lot of things. Yeah. A lot of people that were hurt definitely throughout that experience. Yeah, let's see here. Spiritually, you just been X says, so if you didn't agree with you, doing breath, let it go to the light. So if it didn't agree with you, do the breath and let it go to the light. Yeah, that breath to me, guys, is call it my filter. It's my connection. It's my reminding me who I am. When I take that breath in, it is a full 4-count breath in, full 4-count pause, and a full 4-count exhale out. On that pause, I'm typically and very often silently connecting to my guides and angels, but then also saying thank you, thank you, thank you for the awareness that is mine. That can even be thank you for observing the hard stuff, because if we're seeing it, we're supposed to be seeing it for a reason. Steve, the topic tonight is Ascension, and we are going a little off topic, but I believe it all somehow resonates. And so we're talking about the Ascension process, those symptoms, and maybe even how to help regulate your system back into the groundedness of helping us ascend on a soul level and a spiritual level. And so we will get back to that in just a second. And so that breath, yes, it helps me just come back to my own energy. Again, taking and resonating with what I want or what I hear, and even acknowledging the part that maybe I'm even wanting to resist. And then on the exhale out, I'm very often saying and asking nothing but the highest truths or the best to manifest upon us now. That meaning that if it is for my highest good for me to experience whatever that was, if it is for my highest good to hear it, understand it, even have pain throughout an experience, whatever, I'm asking for my highest self, for me to learn the lesson that I'm needing to learn in a way that can help me grow. That moment by moment breath, guys, I do it all day long. I do it all day long. I do it in these podcasts and my private sessions. That is the way that I am present, and I am reminded to come here and come now. Does that make sense? And so I believe it's extremely important for us to come back there. We are taught to connect to everything outside of ourselves and not here with our own breath. And guys, it's free. It's free. Michael says, hi, Cortney. I want to reach out to you. I'm wondering if you can help me with my son. I've been on a 7-year journey. Michael, absolutely. I have an offer private sessions. You can book a private session at CourtneyCaneSides.com on my website, my friend. I do those private sessions virtually and in person. And I even have a group tomorrow. The seats are not all taken. There's 12 seats. Everybody gets a session, and it's $65. So that is I offer that beautiful group about twice a month so that people can get in without having to really pay the private session prices. And so that's a way that you can come in, have the experience, get an answer, get connected, and get information for yourself if that's what you're choosing and what you're wanting to do. Gems of Sage says it takes the comprehension of the shadows to be able to ascend. It's very on topic. Yeah, it is. I do believe, and I thank you for that, Gems of Sage, that we can't sugarcoat this experience. So even if you listen just simply to what I usually say, it is positive, it's loving, it's kind, it's coming back to that, knowing that it's going to be in the form of abundance. It's that connection. But that's not to discount the depth and the hurdles and the pain and those dark corners and shadows within that we must really make sure that we're acknowledging in order to transcend and ascend into a higher form of our own awareness, 100%. Jason says, it's funny you say that because I feel being uncomfortable and hitting your lows almost slingshots you into a higher vibration. Yes, Jason. So in my own experience with life, yes, Jason, I agree. When I know it's about to get hard, you can see my face as I'm saying this to you. Doesn't mean I like it. You can see I don't like it, right? However, what I know is this. When I come back to that breath, I have everything here in the now to move through from this moment into the next. That is part of this ascension process. We can be exhausted. We can be tired. We can understand we're going to move through into that next realm. And we have everything we need because we are connected to the light of consciousness. We are connected and grounded in our own energy. It is vital for our ascension. And yes, it is not something that can just be overlooked, especially that shadow work, my friend who mentioned that earlier. It's so true. And so if you want to grow, quit ignoring, quit being so busy that you can't sit still because it scares you to sit still. Yeah. So good. Dana says, I saw you in first show with Billy. Hi, Dana. Thank you, my friend. I hope that you were like on Monday in Detroit. Were you there? That was a really cool experience. Anybody that was in Detroit, we had an amazing event. I had multiple events and some filming that was happening there, and we had a ball. So that tour that's happening, Forbidden Knowledge Tour, I recommend you guys go hit everybody up when anybody's touring within that Forbidden Knowledge family, myself, Billy, Elizabeth, and everybody else. The groups are so amazing. The knowledge coming through, and some of those settings have been so beautifully intimate that you get to really connect with everybody there. And that to me was probably one of the coolest things in Detroit that we were able to do, was really connect with everybody. And there were so many of you that said that you watched the podcast, my podcast, and it was so fun to meet you guys in the physical. It made me so happy. So thank you guys for being avid watchers and listeners. It means the world to me. And then to, of course, meet you guys in person was so fun. Angela says, may I have your website again, please? Yes, CourtneyCaneSides.com. Yes, thank you. My assistant is amazing. But yes, CourtneyCaneSides.com. That is Cortney with no U. So you can go there. There's also something, guys, called the VIP Inner Circle that I have where we meet for an hour and a half twice a month. It is 3333. And that group of that community is so special. We're going on 2 full years. In September, it'll be 2 full years that of beautiful content. All of that information is being archived. And so anybody who becomes a member today has amazing access to everything we've chatted about, all of the amazing teachers we brought on in that community. And it's a great way to connect with other like-minded individuals on topics of development and support with like-minded people, guys. This podcast is an amazing thing, but in that VIP Inner Circle, you get to see everybody. It is the coolest experience ever. And so if you're looking for something like that, head on over again to Cortney Cane Sides, which is there in the comments. And, we'll see you there. You will, see emotion and connection. And what is really cool is when one person, those that come on live, when they're not there, everybody misses them. So it's really fun to see the relationships that are built, even virtually. It is the coolest thing, guys. Steve says, I'm 1 year clean from drug abuse and trying to get connected spiritually, but I'm having so much trouble with anger that seems to set me back with my spiritual progress. What do I do? Steve, first of all, I'm so proud of you. I know that that's hard. I celebrate you, my friend. And I understand this. I have seen that firsthand in my family. And I understand how difficult that road can be, but you've already taken such a massive step. The anger cannot, this is through me, my opinion, and the way I feel about this. So I want you to take again what you want and leave what you don't. The anger, I believe, has to be felt, right? And so even Evan says, Steve, anger isn't a bad thing, right? You need to control and use the anger for what is best for you. So I find that when I feel that anger, and call it rage even, right? So getting that out of your system. And so for me, I believe that getting that, we were talking about getting it physically out of your system, recalibrating that body, that physical body to help us ascend. Even when, as I talk about this with you, I have to kind of clench my fist. And we all understand that. We are all human. And so that emotion is there to help you move through it in a healthy way. I would make sure you were either walking or working out, trying to somehow exude that energy. If you can do some sort of, if that was boxing, or if it was like I don't know, there's some sort of, I can see a friend of mine, and he's supposed to be on the podcast next week. you somehow we're not manifesting, but somehow moving that movement and getting that out of your physical body is really important. They have those rooms now too, where you can go and smash stuff. I take a breath in because I feel that energy rising even as I talk about it, guys. Words have power. Words have energy. And if we are rotating all of those gazillion reasons why we're angry, and actually what's on the underside of that anger is hurt and pain and sadness, right? And once we move through the appropriate steps of, call it grief or emotions, whatever, you're going to start to access these other emotions. But typically it feels better for people to feel anger rather than to feel the hurt and the pain and the sadness, because we have been taught as a society that pain, sadness, and tears, either we are weak, or it's not proper, it's not good to share, it's not healthy to put that out there. And so you finding a really good structure of support, okay? Take a breath with me. And every time you notice it rise up in your body, when I'm breathing, I'm not breathing those emotions away, by the way. So I want to be really clear. When I'm taking that breath in, I'm fully acknowledging, thank you. And I'm saying thank you to the anger, thank you to the pain even, right? You see my face as I say it, that doesn't feel good. And I know that sounds really weird to say that, but the anger is there because it's trying to show you something. It's trying to show you what you're going to be moving through. It's trying to help you get into what's underneath that. And so layer by layer by layer, like an onion, we're just simply peeling away these different layers to ourselves. And I know, my friend, you're going to continue to work through it. So it's breathing, it's meditation. And for me, it would be some sort of getting it out of your system. So like jogging or running, exhausting that energy would be really, really important. Okay. Robin says that they talk to the anger, whether a person or the situation. I love that. Essentially too, I show gratitude for the hard stuff too. I have found that in my experience, when I show gratitude and when I'm taking that breath and it's that golden light of connection, and I show gratitude for the awareness that the anger either resides within me physically or emotionally. Thank you for the awareness of his mind. Thank you to that anger for being a teacher on my path. I'm asking nothing but the highest, the truest, or the best to manifest upon me. And then I usually will say abundance finds me in all forms. And I will sit in that cascading light of that golden energy of the now. And when we are in that energy of gratefulness and gratitude for even the hard stuff, there's typically nothing else that can reside within that light, is what I have found. So if that works for you, use it. Okay, you might find different teachings from different people that might resonate with you. And so, friend, keep us posted. I'm super, super grateful for you and really proud of your journey. And so we're all here, as you can see in those comments, all holding space for you. Stephen says, knowing you're going through awakenings, but struggling with past things that work against it. Example, alcohol, lack of time to do things such as meditation, super healthy eating, bad influences. Listen, that moment by moment breath is exactly what helped me move through so much in my life, okay? And so that moment by moment breath can be your moment of mini meditation, okay? All of those words that I said, that I just spoke, I don't even stop and say them even out loud in my own day-to-day process, but on the pause, it's there for me, okay? So I want you to take that and use that, and don't punish yourself for not having the time to do it. Do it in the bathtub, do it in the shower, and when you notice those feelings, show gratitude and come back to those mantras, if you will. Okay. Yeah. So I want to come back. We had a friend earlier saying, now, what was the topic? Okay. So the topic tonight, we were talking about ascending. We were talking about that Schumann resonating, guys, and we're almost there. I'm looking at that time. We went on and on tonight. I love it. So we're talking about the Schumann Schumann resonance pattern that's happening. There was a high frequency that was coming up on Sunday. And so everybody was really excited about it, freaking out about it. And what was really cool is that those different levels were measuring up to an 11, which again, guys, is a power number. And so if you can get outside right now, if you can take your shoes off and put your feet in the grass, Stopping, breathing, being into that energy of the now, coming back to that energy within you, even when we're not in that state that we're even wanting to be in. We understanding that that ascension is here for us, and it's taking that next step in the breath, that next step in the moment, and understanding that we're wanting it to be something different will help us evolve into the next thing. And it is okay that we don't know exactly how that works. It is okay that we have to put faith and trust in our connection to the light. That, guys, will get you so far, I'm telling you. And so again, that Schumann resonance, it's a measurement of the hertz, and that essentially the heartbeat of the earth, and that measurement, it's taking the measurement of the frequencies and the vibrations of the planet. And so again, it was at a really high level on Sunday. Something they say, I don't know who they are, but they say, well, it hasn't ever happened to that frequency or that energy before. It was very, very cool. And so I want you guys to really take note of the way that you have felt on Saturday, Sunday, and thus, since then, and really watch that. Keep track of your aha moments, your awarenesses, the numbers that are popping up, the signs, the symbols, and really watch how your energy is being reflected, by the way, back to you. Okay. Are you waking up annoyed that you're sitting there at work the way that you're having to show up and work? Or are you showing gratitude because you see, ooh, this doesn't work for me. I know that there's something more, and putting that energy into the higher frequency, the higher ascension. Those that are not going to ascend are going to stay in that lower grade, what will feel like depression, or you will feel like they're stuck in that circle, and it will feel like a circle for them. They complain about the same things over and over. You're not going to see a lot of evolution and a lot of movement in their life right now, and that can be sad. But guys, we can't take people with us always. Now that's hard too. You might be mourning as you're ascending. You might be mourning as you're moving through into your own ascension process, because you're wanting to save everybody. Guys, it's not always our purpose to save everybody, which is really hard. But all I believe we can do is come back to our own knowing and find our own solution and our own connection to the light. Yes. Jason says emotion, energy in motion. Yes. Yeah. Show gratitude, Barbara, for the irritation. Barbara says, what does it mean if I feel irritated? Well, I mean, you're a human being. I feel irritated sometimes. You're a human being, no judgment, right? But when you put the light upon it, it's going to raise in frequency. And show gratitude for the irritation, because what's it trying to show you? You're having a third-party perspective, guys. Most people wait until they're dead on the other side to have a third-party perspective, right? You hear that once we pass, we get to see our life play out like a movie. We get to see our life play out like, in a book, or we get to go through all of the things that were hard or whatever. Why not, moment by moment, do that now? Many of us are doing that. We are rising to our highest selves, our highest of frequencies, and having that third party, beautiful perspective here in the now. That, guys, when you ask me, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? That's our purpose, is to evolve and get the hell out of our own way. It's not attached to a thing. It's our connection, and our purpose is attached to our centered space of our light that connects us with all around us, knowing that divinity is within us, and that light is there with you, and it has always been there with you. So again, if you are ascending, you might be noticing low energy, exhaustion, being tired, dizzy. I've noticed a lot of dizziness the last couple of days, headaches, even blurred vision, throat irritation, heart palpitations. And if you're exhausted, making sure you're not doing, again, the same old, where you're laying on the couch, you're watching Netflix, and you're just tuning out and numbing out. Now would be a really great time to, again, listening to that high vibrational music, or sitting in meditation, listening to, again, that Ho'oponopono, or some other beautiful guided meditations, or, things that can help rise and help your frequency to raise. That's something that's a really beautiful thing to do. And also that movement. So getting a good, healthy body work done, or, cleansing yourselves, whether that be salt baths or energy work. It's extremely, I believe, important to be doing that now, that high frequency work right now. And again, coming back to that third party perspective, and again, keeping track of your notes, guys. So collecting your own data. These are some massive times that we're all awakening to our true selves, our own gifts and our own abilities that you have had innately on a soul level since you've come here to this planet, okay? And many of us are awakening to them. It doesn't mean that you have to be psychic, doesn't mean that you have to call yourself a this or a that or whatever. It's attached to no medium, no label. You're just simply coming back to the light that you are, okay? Okay, friend, we're all ascending. Own it and connect back to it, guys. Thank you for being here tonight. Do me a favor, please. I'm trying to help my own personal YouTube page grow. We're going to be doing lots of fun paintings there. Guys, do me a favor and go subscribe. That would mean the world to me. It's Cosmically Connected with Cortney Kane Sides. Go connect there. Again, it would mean the world to me. Please go subscribe. That would be so much fun to go check over there and have all of you following me. That would mean so much. And we're going to do so many fun lives over there while I'm painting and connecting with you guys as well. And then, of course, I'm going to go put that Ho'oponopono meditation, that beautiful music on my Facebook business page just as soon as we're done, and also on the Insta story. So make sure you're following me there tonight or this evening too. That's going to be there. And if you're interested in that group gallery, that group session, it is tomorrow at 12 Central. So join me. It's an hour and a half long, and everybody, there's only, I think, 10 more seats available. When I hopped on tonight, there were only 10 seats available then. So if you want one of them, go grab them. I love you guys. I will see you all later, okay?